Warm welcome. This is Marcus Termin at the 3rd of February 2025. As I'm speaking, the moon is still in the sign of Aries, making a comfortable sextile to the sun in the sign of Aquarius. Remember yesterday, Aquarius and Aries, that's a dream team, works together very well. Tomorrow morning, and that's the chart that we look at, the moon will have the change into the sign of Taurus. We can see it in that picture. Now Taurus, the sign of real estate and wealth and worthy things, has a square position to Aquarius, and this is easy understandable. The idea of individual freedom, technical movement, the idea of splitting up things, opening up things, looking at both sides, is not exactly the frequency that Taurus has, because Taurus, a beautiful sign it is governed by Venus, but Taurus likes comfortable, easy, harmonic things. This is quite a difference to the energy of the sun in Aquarius, and this gives view into what the square position makes. If somebody has the square position in his or her chart, the personality has to manage to get both poles somehow together, to be an Aquarius person on the one hand, and then on the other hand to manage the things that are necessary for living too, which is not easy with this square position. But as I'm speaking, I told you the moon is still in the sign of Aries. So we have a full Aries day to come, Aries moon day to come. Some say the fire moons are a good opportunity to take care for your hair and things like that. I want to put the focus also on another thing that we haven't watched so closely, which is the conjunction of Lilith with the fixed star of Spica. Because Spica, the fixed star Spica, is actually used to be in the center of Virgo, and now Spica is a star in the sign of Libra. Thus you can see that the idea of the retrograde movement of the zodiac and the so-called precision towards age of Aquarius is just wrong, because it's the other way around. Spica would be in the sign of Leo if the age of Aquarius would be true in this sense, but it moves clockwise within the zodiac, and so it's just not true. Spica is also astronomically, we're not talking about astrology only, Spica is way down in the sign of Libra and has a conjunction to Lilith. Now Spica is a star of success. It depends on what conjunction you have, and with fixed stars it's conjunctions only. And the conjunction with Lilith, remember Lilith is not exactly a star, it's an astronomical point, but it's a very old one. The old Egypts used to work with it, and this means in connection with Lilith you might have success with Spica. Now what is that? Lilith is not really the straight way, it's not the clear way. Lilith has to do a lot with the idea of matriarchy and the idea of patriarchy. And there's a second sign in the zodiac right now which is most interesting towards this direction, which is the sun approaching the new asteroid I'm observing, Chariklo, which is very, very close to female things that matter. Now, to those of you who are watching this show, speaking about matriarchy, a lot of people think that anything that comes from, aggressiveness, weapons, rockets, stuff like that is all male, and that if we just had a matriarchy of the mothers ruling again, this would be all over and we would have a better world if only male aggressiveness could somehow leave this world. Now, if you go into historical observations, you find out that this is just not true. We will have a change of societies, and patriarchy can't stay this way. It is, because it's just ridiculous. But the biggest lack I see in people observing and watching these things is that women are not ready yet to go back in their own history. And that is one of the world problems, the big world problems. It's all about the men are the bad guys, or could be the bad guys, and we're not responsible, and that's just not true. So there's a deeper focus on that thing than just looking at the surface right now. But this is not the theme of this little show. So going back to astrological aspects, of course, Mars is decelerating and getting slower and slower and slower until his turnaround at the 24th of February to go back in the right direction again. What does that mean again? Mars is the one who opens up rooms, but if he is slow and if he's retrograde and if he's weak, he will have a hard time to open up a room. He's weak in the sign of Cancer, he's retrograde, he's slow, and that means that's like a crawling thing, you know. It's a crawling worm, something like that. It's not that we have developments in the right direction quickly, you know. On the other hand, Uranus recently turned directly in motion. Now think about the implemented taxes and the idea of taxes for other countries from tariffs. They call them tariffs. It's not about taxes. But also the new president wants to get rid of income taxes. Now that's really Uranus in Taurus. That is really a change in the system. Now let's watch and observe that, if this is not just a big mouth word, but something that comes to reason. All right, that's about the situation I'm going to talk about today. Of course, Venus is just about to have the change to the sign of Aries. It's still today, it's still in the sign of Pisces, and as Venus will be moving into Aries, which is not going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow we still have it on the borderline, but if Venus is in Aries, then we might get a close, quick view into what we are going to expect with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, because anyone who touches this point will have to send out a message to say, well, this is the idea, the Aries color will be within. So there's a good reason to sharpen consciousness and awareness in these days. All right. If you like this little show, I would be happy to look all that up in your personal chart, because any aspect that we see mundane has a different meaning or specificated meaning in your personal chart. This is the possibility to get in contact, and down here at my blog site you will find the necessary conditions for a consultation. Happy to see you tomorrow. This is Markus Termin, Astrologisches Stundenbuch, at the 3rd of February, having a view at the 4th. Thank you for listening.